Tell us a little bit about the players we're about to see. Tell us what you know about Matthew O'Connor as he shifts over to the board. His first streamed game as a 2100 player.
Matthew O'Connor, current rating 2101. First time over 2100. He's probably really excited about that if I know him. He's a wicked fast player, but he can take his time and make some very, very interesting strategic choices. He loves to think about positions, but he also loves to blitz things out. He got to the 2000 level just by playing fast. His word knowledge was never as strong as his opponents of the same rating scheme. So yeah, he's demonstrated how important psychology is and like exploitation in the game of Scrabble. And he's playing against Tunnicliffe, who we just saw, very, very creative player himself in maybe different ways, but also very deliberate, takes his time, knows what's going on. It's going to be a very fun matchup to watch.
And here we go, underway, the patented Matthew O'Connor. My letters are in whatever order they hit my rack in. Screw you if you're watching on the screen. But also the tiles giving a little screw you to Matthew O'Connor. That is terrible. DDGGKLN. Are you serious? Exchange. But what do you exchange here, Josh, and why?
Oh my god, and we saw UUR as the first three letters on Tunnicliffe's rack, and he's trolling us a little bit. He wants an M for quorums. Close to Gagaku. Didn't he have Kagu, or did I misread his rack?
No, he had all consonants. DDGGKLN.
Oh, wow. Okay, sorry. Totally misread the rack. So yeah, this makes sense, exchanging down to the N. Yeah, you could keep a G, but I don't. He drew it!
What? Did he see it and troll us, or did he manifest that?
Oh, that's my god! I thought he was joking when he put it on the board, but he couldn't have wanted to show his letters. Wow, 2 M's, 50 or sorry, a 2% chance, or I mean, it's not a 2% chance.
Not even. Wow,
that's it's a bit more than that, but that's crazy. That's crazy.
Welcome to board one, Matthew. You draw 7 consonants, and your opponent opens for 106. Enjoy, have fun. But he is going to have some fun. He's picked up a blank on his exchange 6, and he will have 3 playable bingos, though they are all sad bingos. Nothing scores well, but he can at least score in the 60s. So that's something, I suppose. Wow. We got to ask Matthew Tunnicliffe, like, did you see the M and troll us, or did you just put it there? That was fun. That's going to be the funniest thing I see all weekend.
I don't know. Let's get that score on the under Matthew Tunnicliffe's name. But yeah, 106. Oh my goodness. I'm pretty sure he didn't actually see it and he just lucked out. I love when that happens. Wow. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, Matthew is going to bingo here. Which bingo he chooses is going to be huge. Matthew Tunnicliffe will bingo if he gets an E, but the word he will have must end in an E. So if Matthew O'Connor plays through the R, no bingos back from Matthew Tunnicliffe. But if Matthew O'Connor makes his highest scoring bingo of Veneries down to the S, then Matthew Tunnicliffe will bingo back. So big decision here, though he can't know it. 2 playable bingos through the R, Veneries and Ingrieve, and also Veneries down to the S. 64 if he plays to the S, Veneries is 62 if he plays through the R, and Ingrieve 61. So a huge decision here for Matthew O'Connor. He can't know which bingos give bingos back, but this will be a big swing one way or the other.
Yeah, it's very interesting positionally here because, I mean, despite maybe being able to score 60 plus on this turn, Matthew O'Connor is going to be way behind with it being Matthew Tunnicliffe's turn. So you really want to make a play that tries to keep the board open for as long as possible. And I think that play is going to be Veneries to the S, even though it opens some dangerous spots. You're really creating a situation where there's a lot of counterplay possible. And yeah, something will play maybe through the V and open the top left lane. potentially. So I think that's what I would do. But yeah, that will fall victim to Calliope, and it's just a question of trying to find all the playable bingos. It looks like you have a lot of options despite the 3 E's, but yeah, I think Veneries to the S is the correct option. But we'll see what O'Connor finds here. He might even not bingo.
All right, grab your hot sauce, Josh, because the bingo that Matthew Tunnicliffe has with an E is spelled Calliope, but it's Greek. You're going to pronounce that Calliope. So if we're doing the mispronunciation shots, cue one up for yourself.
Are we? I don't know. If it pans to me, I'll take it.
I pander to chat when I do my streaming, so if the chat demands it, then we'll make it happen. How much do you hate us?
Look at this. I mean, you were talking about how fast Matthew O'Connor is as a player. He has definitely slowed down a lot in his old age. I mean, he's in his mid-20s, of course. But
geriatric.
Yeah, man, he's already going to be under 20 minutes, and he hasn't put a play on the board yet. So that's got to be a great sign for Tunnicliffe, as well as just being up 106-0. I think we might see the spell broken. I mean, Matthew Tunnicliffe has to be at least 80% to win at this point, even after a bingo from Matt O'Connor.
Maybe Matthew O'Connor is waiting for the signal from his buzzing bandage that he's got under his shirt. You know, which bingo is the best? Somebody flash it to me. Sorry, baseball's back this month, and you can tell I'm fully in gear. I've got to take a shot at the Houston Astros anytime I can, despite the fact that I live in Texas. I do not like the Astros, do not like the Rangers. I'm a big old Jays homer. So anyway, happy baseball season to those who celebrate, or happy baseball is back this month to those who celebrate. I'm so excited for it. We're getting another World Series championship. Let's go Jays, baby.
Yeah, I was thinking you were making an allusion to Hans Niemann and the chess scandal, but yeah, that's true. There's scandals in all walks of competitive life, and yeah, obviously we know almost for a fact. I mean, we have to say, like, these players are not strong because they cheat. Oh my gosh, Matthew Tunnicliffe, and I should say they're not cheaters, of course. He finds pollicle, which is his only other 8-letter word. I was going to give that to chat as a quiz, but he's ruined that, or I've ruined that by saying it. Jesus, struggling this morning, Matt.
Yeah. Pollicle and Calliope, the 2 8s he could have, and he, flexing his deep word knowledge. Why do you know that? That is probability 38,000. But oh my God, Matthew, what?
Yeah, no, I'm not surprised. He might know Veneries. I would be. He usually finds the words he knows, so he might just not know or not be sure of Veneries. And this isn't much worse. It's 26 points, but yeah, he definitely wanted to bingo there. But yeah, I'm not surprised to see the miss here.
So this is not Matthew O'Connor deliberately big brain tried to pass on bingos. This is Matthew O'Connor missed both playable bingos, right? It's got to be.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, but like I said, you can miss bingos. You can also just not know 3E bingos. That's definitely not surprising. Man, this whole time with Matthew Tunnicliffe's rack, I just keep seeing capicolo as a potential 9-letter word. I think that's a word. But yeah, what do you do here?
Be sad. It seems like every time Matthew's opponents blunder, it is the smartest thing they could have done. And once again, it's happened. Of course, he can't know any of that, but yeah, all of a sudden this becomes tough. A COPAL and AVINE plays. Wow, that is a really huge, enormous front hook that I didn't know. But that sets up the opportunity to get crushed by Ravine or Savine front hooks. So while that might be an equity play, I don't know. This is a lot more nuanced to a turn than you might expect. you probably want to take either Ovine or Avine plays, but you don't want to give Matthew too much back with the lead that you have. So interesting. I don't know. What are you looking at here? Maybe CALLOP and Ovine?
Looking at Sam Rosen in the chat saying Josh is pronounced Gabagool instead of Capicola. That's hilarious. That's the funniest thing I've read all day. Shout out to Sam Rosen in the chat. Yeah, I don't know what to do here. Vine sets up the A and the O hooks, and if you want to block those hooks, you have to use them and potentially open other spots. So there's a lot of variance now involved with that hook. And yeah, if you want to just get rid of it and just give Matt O'Connor a couple of turns to maximize or to get a play there, and you can, I think just pushing the button might be the correct option. We see Tunnicliffe considering Copal. You could also go the defensive route, play something like I don't know, through the S. I'm not really seeing much that does a good job blocking the board. I don't really know what to do.
Literally every candidate play that Quackle generated is either at B5, B6, B7, B8, or B9. So we're just front hooking Vine with something, it seems like. The question is, what? And it looks like he's going to opt to play this here, which, ooh, okay. Hey, top of the board, we're not going there. That's really cool. Matthew Tunnicliffe guaranteeing more or less that this game's going to stay on the bottom half. Matthew O'Connor would need to bingo down to the R or the S to get almost any access to that top and top left side. This is a cool defensive decision for Matthew Tunnicliffe. I think I like it.
Yeah, I like it too. You could also maybe play vocal from the V in Vine, but that doesn't really address much. And yeah, this is a 6-point sacrifice, I think, but for a very good reason. You're forgoing the second triple letter score. But, oh no, it isn't. Wait, do I know how to count? No, it's the same score, right? No, it's 2 points. 2 points difference, right?
I was doing too many things. I don't even know what's going on right now, but chat pointing out, maybe consider save the C and try to hit Covine next turn. There's definitely some merit. But at the same time, using the C to say, no, you are not getting this triple word square. You're not making a 2-letter word here. You're not playing bovine or covine or ravine. I don't know. I'd rather play the C here. I'd rather play defense with the lead that I've built.
Yeah, I like this a lot. I think we're going to have a bingo finally from Matt O'Connor. And we're going to see if he decides to play Swelters and sees it with Ovines. That will do a good job at potentially creating some play in the top left. So yeah, lots of board dynamics at play here. I really like the decision of Copal by Tunnicliffe. Like you said, just denying access to the top left of the board. You need basically a bingo using that R of quorums to even access the top left of the board now. So yeah, with the lead of 100 points, very good decision.
So Matthew O'Connor has the three highest scoring bingos, all back hook, COPAL. You can play Swelter, Swelted, or Sweetly. All three of them there for 80. But I agree with Josh. I think Swelters and Ovines is almost a play you need to make. Yeah, you're going to bingo and come close, but you're still down 20 or 25 on a board that's quickly running out of life, and it's your opponent's turn. You're going to be down 50 to 60, maybe even 70 next turn. I think you need to try to keep this board dynamic, and I think Matthew O'Connor feels the same way here. I would expect that we see him sacrifice just a few points and take the 76-point Swelters through the R and quorums over the 80-point Swelter, Swelted, or Sweetly on this turn. And he is going to make me look stupid and play Wavelets for 70, I guess, which I just won't
okay
offer
with this. No, I'm definitely okay with this. I don't actually agree that you need to play Swelters here. There is still some life in the board. Playing Wavelets, denying Matthew Tunnicliffe easy access to that bottom left triple. while creating a spot from the S. I think Copals and Swelter or Sweetly would have been better here, doing the same thing and not giving as much counterplay and scoring more. But yeah, maybe Matt O'Connor wasn't sure of Copals. Maybe Matthew Tunnicliffe can actually read into that. But it's probably not going to matter because, yeah, you just want to play from the S here.
Yeah, Matthew, you've got to wonder, is he not sure that COPAL takes a back S? That might be big information. I can't see that this would be a good strategic decision for him to make when Swelter or Sweetly score 80. Is he missing bingos here? Like, is this some huge big brain thing that I'm not aware of? I don't know, but he's allowing Matthew Tunnicliffe to play Scrog and kind of muck things up again. I don't know. If you're going to play on bottom, you don't have to play Swelters through the R, I don't think, but you need to score 80 and not 70. That 10-point sacrifice, that's not a sacrifice. That's a mistake.
Yeah, I agree with that assessment. So if we see Scrog come down, yeah, Tunnicliffe's going to be ahead by around 60 points, so very nice. But yeah, it depends what he draws. There's only been one eye played so far this game in Vine. And so keeping an eye on your rack, this is something I would try to avoid at not all costs, but at a lot, like 90% of costs, if I can just estimate there. But yeah, we might see a very bad draw if we see Scrog come down on the board and we see that Matt O'Connor doesn't have a single eye and is going to be able to score something with the X. He has Fax underneath the ELE of Wavelets. Very nice, nice and balanced play, scoring a ton of points. So I think there's definitely some play left for Matt O'Connor, and it really is going to depend on what Matthew Tunnicliffe draws after his play. I think he's going to play Scrog.
Yeah, I mean, he set it up as soon as Wavelets came down and then spent a bunch of time. I think he might be looking like, can I hold this C and make like Coward or something through the W and Wavelets? That'd be sick. Can I use this C to block the top? You know, like if you just play even something as silly as like COST through the S and quorums, like GG, we're not playing on the top of this board now. So when you've got a lead and you're looking to block, the C is one of the best tiles you can have, but Scrog, I think, is just too much equity to bypass here.
Yeah, he's looking for other plays, and he's also maybe not 100% sure of Scrog. It's a weird-looking word. And yeah, so he's playing Score instead. I think it's just because he's unsure of Scrog. It's a very weird-looking word. There's words like it, like Sprog, Scrag. So yeah, I think this is just a word knowledge blip for Tunnicliffe. I don't think you want to play... sacrifice 3 points and keep a G here.
If you're not going to play Scrog, if you're not confident or whatever, I think ESCROL perhaps a better choice, but that's okay. Score, a rather unorthodox play, and he's going to get hit back hard and immediately with Fax from Matthew O'Connor to make it 143 to 157. All right, so we've got a game.
157 or 159?
159, excuse me. 143, 159, Matthew Tunnicliffe's favor. So I guess Matthew O'Connor with the big brain bypassed 10 points on my bingo because I know I'm going to draw Fax for 47 next turn. And this is going to be a rough turn for Matthew Tunnicliffe. These racks suck. There's no scoring opportunity, no scoring tiles, no scoring spots. You'd love to make a play down from the W at least to try to get 30 points, but there's no play like that available. And all of a sudden you're looking at sad stuff. A go on top of Quorum scores 17. Is that the best we can do here? I don't know. This is rough.
Yeah. This does suck. And it's a good thing Matt O'Connor... What's that? Caligo? It's a good thing Matt O'Connor played Fax so quickly, or had the play of Fax, because he was way behind on the clock. We know he can play games in 1 minute. I've seen him after hours playing 1 versus 5 minute blitz against certain players and just finishing the game in under a minute. or very close to it. So we know he can just use his time very, very wisely, but this definitely helps him take a breather and consider what's going on in this game. Although once again, yeah, I think he's going to have a pretty easy play. Oh, maybe not next turn. But yeah, it's a really tough turn for Tunnicliffe here, and definitely not the position he was envisioning after quorums for 106 to open the game.
Yeah, geez, the best start you could have possibly drawn up. Exchange 6 into 106-point bingo for myself, and yet all of a sudden, like, we're still neck and neck. This is close to a coin flip. So Scrabble changes quickly when you get good stuff, and that's what's happened here.
Yeah. What does O'Connor have? Does he have anything from the W? IL doesn't work, so no wifey. Maybe he doesn't. Who knows?
He has Weft, WEFTE. He has, there's something else, WAITE.
Right.
There were W plays when I ran it through, but I don't know Collins. WAIFT is the other one. Weft, and Wait all play from the W for Matthew. All Collins only 5s.
Yeah, it makes sense. So is Tunnicliffe thinking of playing Goa next to the ORE? Or, yeah, maybe he could also play a Go, like you said, I think, on top of the RUM of quorums. But yeah, these plays all do not look great. There's lots of threats now on the board because Tunnicliffe played score. He's now opened up an R and an E. But yeah, Caligo is the play you mentioned, and I love this play. It's like, I do not want to keep these 1-point tiles that are not very good. I want to get rid of an I want to score some points. Yeah, I like this decision a lot.
Yeah, definitely. I think this is what you want to do in this situation. This is a nice heads-up play by Matthew, and I am always going to be a fan of somebody playing longer out of the sticks than shorter. We don't need to play holding AILR and just hoping we draw that bingo, because when we don't, it's so ugly. Now, at least you've pulled a P and a D, and you can score some points if you don't get your bingo. I think this is a great way to approach that. Nice play from Tunnicliffe, and that's going to pull him up to 177 to 143. Matthew, O'Connor, I expect to see one of the W plays come down. FEY beneath Caligo, making OF, is also 28, holds AEIT with floating R's and a floating S. That's not as dangerous as it seems. 28, hold a bingo prone leave, but 39 with WAIFT or WEFTE. Hard to pass that up. What would you do in this situation, Josh?
No, I think you have to play from the W here. I hate putting Ys in triple lanes. You're just asking for trouble. What I do notice is that I think Tunnicliffe has a bingo of Praedial through the E. Praedial, unless I'm making that up. So that's probably going to come down unless we see another sick blocking play by Tunnicliffe's opponent. But that would require, I think, what?
Matthew's also got a bingo down to the S, so he's bingoing next turn no matter what.
Okay, that's good. But yeah, I think saving for the fact that those 5-letter words from the W are all Collins only, and Matthew O'Connor spent most of his Scrabble career playing in the North American Lexicon. I'm not surprised that those plays were missed here. I believe I think he would have played from the W.
So yeah, FEY going on top. That's not what we expected. He must. I don't know. I mean, Matthew plays too much Collins. His rating is 2100. I'm unwilling to accept that he's never seen WAIFT. Like, anybody who's played Collins for 2 months has to learn that word and has to learn it quickly. So I think this was tactical for Matthew. I think he feels AEIT might just do it, but it's not going to do it when you draw EOO. Have fun. You got bingoed on, and now you got all vowels. Oh man, big shift in this game. Praedial comes down for Tunnicliffe, and O'Connor is going to sit there and be sad. Thinking about that last turn
Okay.
for sure.
At the very least, he saw wait because now he's playing it. He kept it as a possibility last turn. But yeah, Waifed and Wefte definitely seemed like better options to me. But yeah, maybe he wants to keep AEIT. It's a very, very strong leave if you can draw a couple of consonants, which he did not. And look at consonants on Tunnicliffe's rack. I think you just play kinda here and just be like, okay, give me some vowels, please.
Yeah, kinda. I think the only real option. You could also play TONKS and predials. If you're certain that word take an S, you should be. I mean, there's a 7 alternate spelling without the first A, and that takes an S, right? So like, you've got to be, you've got
Only
to
in
you've got to know
columns.
that. Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, kinda going to be the play here for Matthew. I think holding on to that second to last S is very smart to do. I don't think there's much more to think. Let's see, does he get a bingo? No, he's got the Z. He's got the Z. Okay. So kinda from Matthew Tunnicliffe, and Matthew O'Connor kept 2 A's last turn, or kept 2 O's last turn, and he's going to have to deal with them this turn instead. AEIOOST. And kinda is going to give him some fun stuff. I think the funnest one is Rodeo, ROADEO. Play 4 vowels, score 18 points, or put the S on the end and score 29. I don't think you're putting the S at the end. I think the back hook for Caligo is important to hold on to, but Rodeo, a fun option, or the more standard, just drop 2 O's, ROOD, in that same spot as 14. What are you doing here, Josh? You just playing 2 O's? You trying to score a little bit more? Are you looking to open this board? What's the thought process?
Yeah, I don't know. If the scores are up to date and down 60 points, I don't know that just playing 0-0 and bingoing next turn is going to cut it. So I might try to get some extra points here. The problem, again, with rodeos is that, yeah, you're not leaving yourself with great letters. But, you know, IT isn't the worst thing possible, but the S is pretty strong here to go with Caligos. So yeah, we're seeing Rude. It's going to bingo as much as Matt possibly can hope to bingo. So I understand this decision, but yeah, it might have been a little bit more accurate to take a little bit of extra points here with rodeos. I don't think I play rodeo. I think I play rodeos.
So, Rude, the play here, 14 points, and he has drawn, what, EG into that rack. Matthew Tunnicliffe has a big decision. When you watch your opponent drop 2 O's, they're probably pretty close to range. They're not playing through 6 vowels. It's way better to exchange. So he's got to decide, do I put the Riz on or do I block Caligos? And he's going to put the Riz on. He's going to obstruct that S in quorums, decrease a lot of bingo options for Matthew O'Connor. But ZORIS and Predials also played in the bottom for a ton of points. I think this is right, though. I think you want to hold your own S rather than burn it. Right, Josh?
Yeah, and Zori's, is that what you're saying through the O? That doesn't really deal with the Caligos hook because we know ZE is a word. And also, yeah, you don't know that Matt O'Connor has an S with the play of Rude. He might have like AEINT, AEIRT. So yeah, I don't think you make that decision. The Caligos lane isn't that bad because if it's used, it gives back a triple or score at least 1. So yeah, I think I like this decision, and we see GAE come down immediately, or almost immediately from O'Connor. He didn't miss anything there, did he?
No bingos. He just immediately made the top equity play. So I mean, he's kind of catching up the time trouble we put, not time trouble, but the time that he lost earlier in this game. And this will be fun to watch Matthew Tunnicliffe. This turn, I can already tell, is going to be a very interesting decision for him. No playable bingos, and he's got to decide his approach to this game right now. Sitting on a lead, 232 to 297. 46 points are available. HISTED and Caligos. 46. Put yourself up 100 points, but open up a bingo line where your opponent can bingo for 90. You've just seen Matthew play OO and then GAE. You've got to have him pegged on bingo range. There's an unseen blank. It might be on his rack. It's on his rack, I think, a decent amount of the time. So do you play Histed, score 46, and say, forget it, bingo, but outrun me? Or do you try to play some defense? Even just dropping the H beneath the O in Caligo, just OH for 10 makes some sense here. You bingo a lot of the time, and Matthew O'Connor is unlikely to block the board. Histed also plays with Rizza's,
you gotta play that. I was gonna say, like, for 40 points rather than 46, you gotta play, I think, with Rizza's. That's so much better for the board. And I think at this score being up 65, you don't want to leave it up to chance with a 10-point play, even though, oh, wow, he's just going for it. Okay. I am surprised at this decision. I mean, he's giving O'Connor one chance to hit a big play onto the triple, but I would definitely take the 6-point sacrifice here. Like I said, the Caligo's lane can be blocked. It's not a big deal. You're up by so much. I would definitely play for 40 here.
Yeah, I at least would have spent 2 or 3 minutes trying to get a feel. Though sometimes your gut instinct tells you more than anything else. And I don't know, Matthew Tunnicliffe going with his gut, taking the extra points, taking a shot, and this is a shot that is going to pay some, I guess, okay dividends. I don't know. Ariest plays. Oh, Iris 8 is Collins. Never mind. I'll stop talking. Yeah. Iris 8 played next to GAE, and it still plays next to GAE. So Matthew's going to bingo Matthew O'Connor to bingo for 85 now, or perhaps for 79, making HE instead. Josh, do you take the highest scoring bingo here, or do you address the high scoring line, knowing that you're trailing by over 100 points?
Yeah, this is really difficult. Yeah, I think. Oh man.
Oh, we're on hold. We're on hold too.
Oh yeah, this is a very sensible hold. Maybe even both players are on hold. You might know Caligo, you might not know if it takes S or ES. You might know hist, but you don't know if it's a verb. Yeah, this is a sensible hold. It puts O'Connor in a very bad spot. Yeah, we see the challenge, so we're going to see 5 or 10 extra points. Okay, 5 points.
No, it's one. Okay, so just histed. Caligo takes both S and ES, so potential source of confusion. And then histing is probably how you would know that hist is a verb. But histing is, first off, 18,000 in probability, and second off, has 3 other anagrams. Players tend not to focus on those sets and having them down quite so much. So histing, insight, shiting, and scything, all Collins bingos. The challenge comes back, 5 extra points for Matthew Tunnicliffe, and then Iris 8 comes down for Matthew O'Connor. Man, I get behind because these guys go so fast.
I can't believe how official sounding you pronounce the word shiting. But I understand this decision. It at least leaves possibilities of playing through the eye of Iris 8 next turn to open a part of the board that has been closed for ever since quorums came down. And you just want to hope that Tunnicliffe doesn't have great letters to hit that triple next to the H. I'm still not sure what I would have chosen there, but I think positionally this makes the most sense. You're going to be behind potentially almost another full bingo anyways, so you want to leave options open to reopen the board here. So I understand this decision.
And Matthew's still in good shape, despite the fact that Matthew O'Connor got a bingo down. I think TWIN is not GG, but rather close to it. Let's get the unseen pool updated in just a second. Not a lot of threats unseen. Not a lot of good. You know, I'm not really seeing much that Matthew could have drawn that scares me. I'm not seeing big bingo threats that could come down after TWIN, HI, and IN. And Matthew Tunnicliffe feels the same way. He's going to play it quickly. VB blank, not the leave you want with a kind of ugly pool like this, especially if you pick up a U into this, which is very likely. Could be some trouble, but you don't have many options. Just make this play. You've got the blank. You're in commanding position. And I think the position that Matthew Tunnicliffe is in, where he feels rather dominant despite the fact that he's only got a 50-point lead, all comes back to the beautiful way he's played this game. That play of Copel, like we talked about early in the game with the lead he had, just limits opportunities. We've never progressed to that top left side of the board. RIZ, he wasted no time as well. I mean, that we're just not getting up there. So typically when you're only ahead by 50 or 60, there are threats. You're worried, but no, this is a defensive masterclass here. And I think that play is just making every decision for the rest of the game easier for him. While it was an equity sacrifice, it's well worth it to put yourself in these situations.
Yeah, I agree. And now Matt O'Connor's in a really bad spot here. He might want to play something like bougie or booing through that eye that he's opened up. You also don't really want to block the second to rightmost column that twin opens up for a 7-letter word, but you might have to. This board is so difficult to deal with. The only breath of fresh air would be playing something, I think, through the eye of irisate, like bougie, and just hoping to draw a big play, or booing. Yeah, booing makes sense as well. It's actually probably harder to deal with the opening that booing creates versus the opening that bougie creates, though the leave is slightly worse, keeping the U. So I think
the real reason booing is better is because there's only 4 vowels to be drawn. I think holding EU is not scary in this situation. If you draw the second U, you're dead anyway. But yeah, you got to assume a lot of consonants are coming. I'm holding both the vowels here. I like the idea of booing. And as you said, I think it's a harder line to really deal with the way booing sets up. So I love this decision for Matthew O'Connor, giving himself one last chance. But we know that blank is on Matthew Tunnicliffe's rack. And as Matthew O'Connor doesn't draw it, he's got to start suspecting the same thing here.
Yeah, and let's get that score updated. Matthew O'Connor has drawn into en room, which is a word I actually learned a really long time ago. At the same time that I learned the crazy word rheumatiz, RHEUMATIZ. En room being a Collins only 7-letter word does not fit on this board, but there's a very, very, very small chance that we might see Matthew realize that these unseen letters are really bad. And with his lead, he might decide to play something dangerous, unlikely, very, very unlikely. I think we're going to see a blocky play here. But yeah, the unseen letters are not good from Tunnicliffe's perspective.
Are you ahead by enough to play VOE through the O in booing for 14?
Yeah, I think so.
That's
really not
one to do here. BEY beneath booing is actually fine too. I'm making BE and OY. You can't get hit with OBE. There's none left. JOY alone won't hurt you, and there's no O's for JO and JOY. I think you can make BEY beneath and feel secure as well. Or you could actually play BY plays, maybe just BY and set up your own A. Ooh. BY and BY, if you do pick up the J, you draw into Hodge, burning your blank if you need to. I or JO and J blank.
Oh yeah, you can't play VO. Sorry, both of us are. We know the word EVOE. We just aren't used to seeing it. Yeah, thanks chat for pointing that out. You cannot play VO. Why does he have VE on his rack? Don't do it. But Bevy is not a good play. I think making BY is what Matthew had on his rack, but BEVVY is a good play. Making the blank a second V, because that prevents 7-letter words from fitting underneath the B and the E. Yeah, very interesting turn. I think there are lots of plays that win 100% for Tunnicliffe. I'd want to get rid of the V if I can and try to bingo. So something like BY looks very interesting because yeah, there are no A's to hurt you.
Even the four-letter BEVY only loses to one exact rack. Truemen, Truemen, is the only thing that you could lose to. But when you're in this position as Matthew Tunnicliffe, you've got to make sure you take this to 100% win. You can't. You can't even open up the possibility that Trueman happens unless you're getting a ton of spread to make up for that small risk. There's no reason to play 4 tiles and open a bingo line when you've got this lead in this position. So I don't know. You can do a bunch of things. I kind of like this BYBY idea. Hold 2 vowels, ADEV blank. Maybe you bingo even. Set up ABY and make sure nothing bad happens. I like all of that, but Matthew Tunnicliffe is probably going to figure out how to maximize his opportunity in this situation.
I found a play that I really like here. Just BAY, AB, and YO. It's just scoring really well, leaving 1 tile in the bag. Again, you cannot be hurt by OB or AB on top of the B. There's no underlapping tiles either to hook AB. But he's playing it on the bottom.
He's setting up the J, setting up the J draws.
That's very curious. Yeah, it makes sense, but it's so much fewer. Like this also, the on top also sets up the J draws.
Oh, it does, yeah.
With jab or whatever. Yeah, curious. I mean, this play wins. I mean, that's what you want to do here. But I'm kind of it's hard to imagine playing on top because this just looks so much blockier. He's looking into the bag, making sure he's not emptying the bag here. But yeah, I think I like just taking points for BAY.
Yeah, there's a bunch of things you can do here. The important thing is don't empty the bag, or if you're going to empty the bag, make sure it's impossible to be bingoed upon. BAY is fine. He's going to draw the blank and now threaten some big stuff. A lot of cool things you could have done there, but again, the big thing is don't play BEVY and put yourself in a situation where you might lose to the nightmare situation where Matthew O'Connor has Trueman, and you've got to be able to outrun big stuff. You know, Matthew actually now has Hegumen, Hegumen for 30. You want to make sure you can still live a play like that no matter what, but BAY does score enough and sets up the J. So you're going to be able to live JO and JOY. It's still game over.
Right. Yeah. 396 now to 341. Hegumen is possible from Matt O'Connor's perspective if he knows the word. So you might want to just do or die, play off the R and try to draw into that and hope Tunnicliffe A doesn't know it or doesn't see it. But I think here you're just playing HM maybe, and Hoy and MO, and just taking points and saying, yeah, you got this. If I draw the blank, I'm probably going to lose by a little bit. Juve is the threat with ET, I think, which, yeah, Matthew Tunnicliffe will always have, and it'll always be enough to win. But yeah, I think this is the decision to make.
Yeah. So HM, you got to take away the J opportunity. I think that's probably fine, but you've got to know as Matthew, this is a game over situation. We're 0% to win. Let me just make sure I don't also add insult to injury by getting hit with a J bomb.
Yeah, we see Matthew Tunnicliffe motioning O'Connor to draw the last tile in the bag. I wonder if Matt O'Connor was maybe forgetful or not aware there was a tile in the bag. That will sometimes happen. And yeah, sometimes we've seen things happen where tiles have been left into the bag and tiles have been left in the bag and it is not shown. Like one of the players is just like, okay, whatever. Oh, what is this? This is a word, right?
It's yeah, you got to have a lot of confidence in booing taking a back S in order to make this play. Like, you don't want to lose a turn in this situation. And you know, especially in 5 point, oh, it's getting challenged if there's, you know, any uncertainty at all. But he is confident enough to play it. That's cool stuff. That really demonstrates a great grasp on the lexicon and the hooks. I think he's on hold now. Interestingly, this is not, according to Quackle, optimal
That's not
game,
because
but
Yeah, you're not leaving yourself with an outplay.
Right. If you play Jugged, Jugged, that seems to be Quackle's choice, holding VT.
Yeah,
You
you
threaten
get to
vet
play
in two
vet.
places.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. But maybe if you get the 5 points, how much worse is it? If it's within 5 points and you think there's a decent chance you're getting the 5 points, then it might be worth doing.
Yeah, it's 6 points down from Jugged.
And yeah, I mean, you have to know that Tunnicliffe knows the ing words so well. Yeah, no challenge. Trust here. We have some trust and trust in the building.
Yeah. All right. So ENE, the play for Matthew O'Connor. It's going to make it 399 to 438. Matthew Tunnicliffe unable to go out with the DEV combination. So I think he plays DEV through the E and Iris 8. And we're nearly done with this one. Actually, SEV down from the S. Slightly better by 1 point.
Yeah. This one's over. This was a good game. And we finally see the right side curse lifted. What do you think?
Yeah, I like it. Matthew Tunnicliffe, the one to finally shake off the right side curse. And you know what he needed to do to make that happen? He needed to provide content that quorums with the unseen M. I was so confused. He just started putting down his tiles, and I'm like, dog, what are you doing? He must have known it was an M or peeked and immediately played it. That was fun though. That's how you beat the curse. You provide the content.
Yeah, and very surprisingly, I mean, this is such a close game. We thought it might be just another one-sided game, but Matt O'Connor fought super hard here, giving himself chances, stumbling a bit along the way. Tunnicliffe as well, maybe making some small mistakes, but very high-level play. And we have a final score here.